All
I
right.
can do a
Okay.
lead in for this too. We just
Okay.
finished talking about actual stuff, and now I just need advice from motorsports friends because this is a great, especially with COVID times and stuff. It's hard to get like a community of just real enthusiasts together, and I need advice. So it's Facebook forums or whatever, or since I already have a quorum here of petrol heads, I'm gonna ask. So I've got my hands on it was a I don't know $350 Miata shell. It's an NB, no title, hail damage, no drivetrain, and I don't know what to do with it. I have the car. The
Honda.
opportunity came up. I put down the cash. I'm thinking
Honda.
spec Miata. What do you guys think?
Yeah, maybe. I guess it depends on what you want with it.
Yeah, what do you want to drive it? Do you want radical power or do you want to go hit some cones?
So I don't know. There's two like contrary or two dichotomous, I don't know, whatever, two opposing things in my head going on right now. One, I really want a V8 race car. I've always had turboed stuff, whatever. I really want a V8 car. Now, the other part is that I already have an extreme car that lets me kind of express myself mechanically in the hill climb car, right? I mean, that's one of the things I love about the hill climbs that we're doing is with the CHCA, the rules are really open. So I already have a high horsepower extreme car. I already have the one where I can, tinker with it at the limits of my own, engineering and innovative capability. But I also really like V8s.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. And this is where I'm stuck now, right? Like the world
Well,
is my oyster with this thing. So
Do you have a desire to do the wheel-to-wheel racing of like Spec Miata? Is that like an itch to go to like high plains?
yeah. I do, and so I've done some lemons racing. I know you were saying earlier you're getting ready to do some lemon stuff, and I like the wheel to wheel aspect of lemons. But I don't like that like contact is everyone's at fault. Like I don't care. Like I want full contact racing. I want rubbiness racing. I don't want to race NASCAR, but I want NASCAR vibes. Bump drafting is encouraged in Spec Miata, for example, right? And I saw that and I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm doing that, right?
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I mean, it's a
Man, also I think my 2 cents are to do that, focus on whatever the easiest and most affordable solution is. What's, like you said, you've already gone radical. What do you do to make something sound so that thing just always works? You go to the junkyard, you buy some parts, you keep it in that state, right? And you could always rip everything out, throw it in the garbage, and go for $1,000 and have a whole fresh running car again, right?
So I mean that's true. In like two avenues, right? There's LS everything, right? There's a little bit of cost involved to get that swap going. Like stronger transmission, differential, hopefully, right? And then some of the initial cost of getting the motor actually in the car. But once it's there, it's there. And in the top end of Spec Miata, right? These guys are paying $10,000 or $30,000 to get these cars prepped to that national level. Now, if I'm not trying to compete nationally, then I could go run a junkyard motor and cruise around regionally in 40th place and just bump around and have a good time. Or I mean, do you guys know of a racing series that would let me put a V8 in a Miata and still race wheel to wheel?
Yeah. Johnny Chikowski from Nine Lives, he's been running he's done exactly that. He's got a V8 Miata and he's been running it, but I'm not sure what class is. I'd have to dig into more. I just see his track videos, but he's definitely out there running it.
Yeah, and he's got all that aero too, right? And so I've been curious. I haven't actually reached out and asked him yet. What's allowing you to do that? And maybe is he time attacking?
It might be. Yeah, could find out. Well, Blake and Kelsey, I mean, you said you just got a shell as well. I mean, what is your guys' plan for it?
Oh, Blake messaged me at work and said, this guy's selling a driving Miata for $500. And I said, here's cash.
Yep.
Well, I don't know what we can do with it yet, but
okay.
It's like a good deal.
Yeah.
So we haven't got it yet, but it was a recent thing. So I mean, it was kind of like how can we turn this down? So I think we're kind of in the same boat as you in a way. You know, like, I mean, it's like, what do we want to use this for? But I mean, kind of what Victor was saying, right? It's like, well, I mean, we have enough going on with our cars. I mean, between Kelsey and I, we have 3 GCs already, and like those are already projects as it is. And so like this is kind of like what's minimal effort to go out, get seat time, and have a good time. So like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it's that tricky point of is it just a car that you take to the track, or is it a car that you're now going to try and compete in some kind of
Right.
organized series with that, because that changes
true.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's having fun with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, my priorities were the thing that even got me to start looking at Miatas in the first place was small, simple, front engine, rear wheel drive, manual transmission, good handling, good braking, reliable.
Yeah.
And so what fits that? And cheap, right? So what fits those? You know, in this case, Miata is the answer. You know, even compared to like a BRZ or a, I mean, I even looked at like a 300ZX, right?
Mm.
Because they're kind of, I mean,
Getting
whatever.
into that budget area.
Right.
Yeah.
And rare now versus the Miatas, they're out there. You can get all the stuff for, and everyone's converted them every possible way. But I think that's the biggest piece, is understanding where to go. I don't know. It sounds like, reaching out to other states too. I don't know, New Mexico doesn't have any motorsports. The only rally they have here are demonstrations. Race wise, it's Arizona might have maybe some stuff. I don't know what Nevada has, that's kind of in that neck of the woods, or even East Coast side. Maybe there's even more. And actually, maybe, Tasso, you just said it. You said NASCAR like. Well, where's NASCAR run, right? In majority, like those are probably the forums we need to start looking at for that kind of stuff. They got to have backyard stuff that fits everything you just described.
So I don't want to do circle track stuff, but I mean, even to that point, I started looking for old road course NASCAR chassis just for sale.
Wow.
Even, that was one avenue that this, rabbit hole went down in my head, was maybe buy an old road course NASCAR and see, but then trying to find a series for that to actually compete in, is a whole another monster. We're fortunate we have high plains so close out here, right? So if it was just a track car, then I could do whatever I wanted with it, as long as it had a roof and I wore a helmet, right?
Between you and Blake, you guys could just start your own series. Go to, what is it, La Junta, and just rent the track for the day and call it what you just said. So maybe it's getting some more peers on that too. Like, hey, everybody buy one of these and let's just go play around. We have our Lemons car again too, where I'm sure we'd be up for something like that. It's a 99 Forester, but
just open racing series.
Yeah.
Must be car, must have driver.
Check.
That's it.
Check.
Yeah.
Doors optional.
Yeah. My 2 cents would be is just put a cage in it and go do some laps with it, and then I think it's just going to start evolving, right? You'll find that. I mean, you kind of mentioned the platform, right? I really like the appeal of just the rear wheel drive, 2-seater like that. Just the car's going to drive different. Kind of learn maybe some new driving techniques, and then you'll probably get to the point where you're like, man, this thing's slow. I need a V8 in it, and then just dump the V8 in it.
Maybe the solution will come to me.
I think the wheel-to-wheel part is the real decider, and that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because wheel-to-wheel, that's where you're going to have to be in an organized body, and that's where you're going to have the tightest rule set. And Spec Miata is an extremely tight rule set.
That's true.
Extremely tight. Like, it's even harder to build a shell into a race car in Spec Miata, because I'm trying to find like all these random parts that I would never put on a race car otherwise, right? But you have to have all the stock stuff, right? And so it's, that's a thing, obstacle I'm running into, and that's a factor in my kind of decision here too. Is it's such a controlled spec class that even trying to find some factory under, like the washer bottle, right? Like if it doesn't say you can remove it, you have to have it. Like, okay, so now I guess I have to find a washer bottle to put back in the car to make it class legal.
Wow.
So it's, but then, SCCA, the Rocky Mountain region, right? You're going from, Utah to Oklahoma, right? And that's kind of your Rocky Mountain region for, regional Spec Miata racing, right? Grid Life, right? They have the wheel-to-wheel version, the touring cup or whatever, right?
that's what I was going to mention. So wheel to wheel, but with a looser rule set would be GLTC. But then that's where you looking for like a junkyard engine or whatever, because it's kind of a little bit more open power wise, power to weight based. But that's where I mean, can you make a Miata that's competitive? So now all of a sudden, instead of it being cheap, now it's like if you're going to do that, can you be competitive or not?
Right, and then I mean, so like a lot of things, including NASA and time trial stuff, and like some of the more open, like what Scotty's doing, right? It's power, but then you have modifiers too, performance modifiers, like for aero or turbo or whatever, right? Or even flat dyno curves, right? So Grid Life has a penalty if your dyno curve seems really flat, and so I think that kind of performance equalizer racing is it naturally kind of it leaves a lot of opportunities, right? So like it's open to the guy that figures out what is competitive that year, and then they'll make a thing to outlaw that the next year. And it's like, oh, Corvettes have a big loophole, so let's all run Corvettes this year in our performance equalizer race series, and then they'll catch that loophole. And then the next year is 370Z year or something like that. And that's something that's always turned me off about performance equalizer racing is it's a constant attempt to try and catch up with what somebody figures out,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
it's a catalyst for innovation, but it also can actually defeat that innovation as well.
So anyways, this is what's been
it's weighing heavy on you, I could tell.
Yeah, keep us posted, man. I mean, it sounds interesting, so certainly good to know and put some thought into it. But yeah, I'd say you definitely got to stay in touch with Blake and Kelsey on that front. It's funny that you mentioned Miata.
It's hilarious.
I found a YouTube video that compared a spec Miata, an SA20 Honda motor, and an LS, and the Honda performed the best out of all the different tests they put it through.
Just because of the weight or balance of the car, or
I'll have to watch it again, but I just remember the Honda winning.
It says VTEC now, so I mean,
Like
You said
because of VTEC.
you said it doesn't have a motor or anything right now. It's just a shell.
Nothing. I have a transmission, one of the 5-speeds that is sitting on the trailer next to it right now with a tarp over it. But I've never been at this point before where I have a literal blank slate,
Yeah.
It's you have all the possibilities ahead of you, and then that's also what is difficult, because you can do anything.
Analysis paralysis.
Exactly.
I could see the challenge now. It's like, well, if I'm going to invest in something from zero, like what is it going to be?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a good one. Well, I mean, you have to think about it and come back, and we'll revisit this in like 6 months when you end up wherever.
Yeah, get us posted. I think we're pretty flexible on our platform too, so it would be fun to get ours together and go do some racing.
Yeah. So you
Build
have
something.
a totally stock like 1.8 right now in yours? I don't know what year you got going on.
93, is that right, Blake?
Oh, so maybe even a 1.6.
it's 1.6,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first double
1.6.
counter. But it's the first year I think that spits the spark plugs out of the head.
I'll be honest, I'm not too sure. He just said $500 for this Miata. It runs, and I was like, we'll buy
You
it.
didn't. You don't look at the details when you hear that.
No, you just buy it. And then if you put it in your wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I mean with the hail damage. I'm not even worried about, some fender rubbing or some tire wall smacking.
Aerodynamically faster.
Yeah, I got my golf ball. But
Speed
so
nipples.
the folks I got it from have so many Miatas. They bought little dealer tags to keep their keys all straight because they had 10 Miatas, now they have 9. And
Oh my
this one
gosh.
on the little dealer tag for the key, it just says golf ball because it's a white car with hail damage.
Nice.
There you
Nice.
go.
Name.
You got a name. Stick with it.
So
Just stick with the golf ball.
for both of you, I will plant this seed. Look at the Japanese hill climb series, and okay, what could you build in a Miata that you could ship over there and have fun with?
Oh,
Yeah.
Mark a left-hand
where this would go.
car in Japan for us to use.
Oh, then I say LS because they're going to be like, wow, that's just America in Japanese.
Maybe.
Well, shit. Damn it.
Oh
be
man,
amazing.
John, now you put too many ideas in our head.
Oh, that would be epic.
I already have a name for the one we're gonna buy because it's like all red and beat up. So I was gonna name it the Swordfish 2 from Cowboy Bebop.
Nice. Oh man.
Man, or then if you make a Firefly one too, or Millennium Falcons. Would be
Oh
the
my god.
solution here.
I'm gonna have
Doesn't
to
look
buy
like
that.
much, but it's the fastest ship in the galaxy.
Oh man. Absolutely.
Damn it! Now there's a thing.
So you could shake it down at Clifton and then ship it over to Japan, and
Yeah.
then yeah.
And
I
in the
just
meantime,
saying.
just beat
Oh,
it up
Oh,
with
this
the
is good,
VR.
yeah.
I love golf.
Yeah.
Lemons will never let you run a LS Miata because it's too good.
Tasso, you get to Japan, you pull out a golf club and a ball out of the trunk, and then you hit it against the car.
Yeah.
Right? That's your signature. They'll look at you like, whoa.
Yes. More speed dimples.
Oh man!
I
All
got
right.
a class.
We gotta jump, guys.
All right.
Well,
Well, thanks,
all right.
guys. Thanks for the bonus podcast as well.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Thanks for hanging out and helping make my conundrum worse.
Good.
So
Yes, that's what we're here for.
So funny that you had a Miata too, man. That is so
Yeah.
coincidental.
Our
yeah,
people. It
sometimes it's
happens.
the answer.
All right. We'll see you guys.
All right.
All right.
All
Bye,
right,
guys.
take care.
Take care. See you later.